Welcome inside episode 1 of the league itself. Joined as always by Live Golf Buff. I'm Liver and Onions. 5 things or so to get to today. Want to start out by saying everybody saw we were on X, that saw episode 0. We have uploaded that, and we'll upload all episodes to Spotify now. So check out the league itself on Spotify. You can find us there. Topic 1, Live Golf Buff. If you want to take us into this, we have the 4th Cleek announced. You want to talk a little bit about that to start?
Frederick Kjettrup. I know everyone likes to call Ketchup, whatever fun name you want. He's now on the Live Golf League, and he joins Keimer, Richard Bland, and Adrian Moronk as the 4th guy, replacing Callie Samoya. He's got a good background within his time at Florida State as a 3-time All-American and turning pro this year, won on PGA Tour Americas. So it really fits the script on what teams are doing this offseason, especially with the Ironheads, and Cleeks kind of follow suit after Legion did it last year of, going for the young guys and having a solid 4th talent-wise, but, maybe not as established within a pro, but kind of building them within the team. So I think it's an interesting approach, especially with the Cleeks. I was thinking more last year when they had Samoya on the team as the old wily veteran that's been around the block for a while. He wasn't all that competitive, but I'm curious to see how it works with the Cleeks because they don't have an equity captain, and I don't know how competitive they're going to be in the season-long race with Kjettrup there. What do you think about that?
Well, I do think he's an upgrade. I mean, they got Samoya thinking like, here's a seasoned guy. He's played on a lot of different tours. He's had some success, different places where he's been. He was never like a home run guy. You weren't saying, here's a guy that we think can come in and win tournaments. I don't know that we're saying that about Kjettrup right now. Obviously, these new guys are multi-year deals, so we're going to see them with the team for 2 or 3 seasons, probably at a minimum. But I like this move saying, let's bring in a guy that knows everything about winning. Look at where he's been, really. So prior to Florida State, he has some pretty good amateur wins. Goes to Florida State, has 3 wins, one of which was co-champion of the ACC in 2020. And you're talking an ACC with like Lamprecht and Luke Clanton. So it's Florida State's not Oklahoma State when it comes to golf, but it's not terrible. Daniel Berger, Brooks Koepka, Paul Azinger, guys that have been through Florida State. And
it's a solid program.
Yeah. Kjettrup's going to be remembered as one of the best ever there. You look at like he's their all-time scoring average, like lowest scoring average ever of somebody at Florida State. So when you're drafting here based on potential drafting or signing, he fits the mold. Like this is what we want going forward if we're going to bring in a young guy. I know you had mentioned probably before we talked, like some of these teams that they need more firepower to compete right now. Is this really the best way is to bring in a young and developing player? We'll see.
I think something that also can be stated with this too, and I hope that Cleeks do this with Kjettrup and Ironheads do this with Jang. Like, let's have these guys like really grind their teeth on the international series. Like they get the starts. Like last year, Caleb Surratt only did 2. Let's get these guys starts. I don't know what his deal was last year, but like let's get these guys going. I don't think Poos did a ton of international series during the 2023 season either, if I remember correctly. I could be totally wrong, but let's get these guys some starts and like really get them seasoned to a professional golf schedule landscape, like put that all together. I think that's something that would be a good thing for both teams. But
that's where I hope someone like Martin Keimer would step in and say, you're going to get the pro experience here at Live, but you need to play and develop, and the best way to do that is competitive golf. And the international series that is available to you, go take advantage of it. One, it's a chance to make some good money if you can finish high on the international series. Those purses just continue to get better and better. They're good courses. I don't see a downside of sending your young guy and saying, we would like to see you play 5, 6 of the 10 international series events. I do think Caleb Surratt should have played more. I hope that he does this year. I think that's like the next step in your pro development is you have to play more tournaments. And I know you're going to get feedback like, oh, live guys, they just wanted to play the 14. That's different. That's not these young guys that are learning how to be professionals still. Kjettrup, we'll see. I like the signing. It makes sense as these teams develop into geographical identities and that kind of stuff. This makes sense for the Cleeks. It's by no means a signing that's headlines on mainstream media outlets, but the Cleeks are going to say, hey, we got a guy that we think can really develop and compete. And they always use that term, team spirit. You'll notice if you watch the 3 like welcome to our team videos by Bland and Keimer and Moronk, every single one uses the phrase team spirit.
All about team spirit. Yeah.
And they love that. And if he fits that, then I think that moves them forward.
And with that being said, there's still some indecisiveness, I guess, within the other roster spots within the league with Fireballs, Range Goats, Legion, maybe High Flyers. We're still trying to figure out how many openings we have left. It's easy to assume with Fireballs, it's Ballister, just based off everything we've seen online. Legion, maybe Thomas Dietrich, based off everything we've seen online. We have no idea what's going on with the Range Goats in terms of who they're prospecting. Maybe it's someone else that's super young. I'm not fully sure. But I think it kind of leads into a bigger thing. Well, also, too, I didn't even realize Stinger with Brandon Grace. Is he coming back? This isn't the
all signs lead to yes. I don't think they've given any indication that Grace is being held at arm's length away from their team at all.
No, but the overarching point I was trying to make, and before I was sidetracked by just remembering Stinger, is that it wasn't the world's biggest offseason in terms of splashes. And I think that's okay, right? No, in terms of what the league's looking for, I don't think it needs to be home run, home run, home run, home run, kind of like it was last year.
That's fine. And I'm totally good with that. I think everybody wants the speculation of top 20 players and this and that. But as Liv progresses year by year, we're going to have less and less of that. And Liv stepped up and said, okay, outside of maybe 5 guys, there really isn't those major contracts available anymore. Like, we're putting it on the teams. Like, this is your deal now. You're going to fund, when you sign a contract with a player, you're going to fund that. And whether that's out of sponsorship money or that's out of prize money from the team event at the end of the season, like, you guys need to figure out how to pay for that. And I think that's accelerating the league rather than just saying Liv is going to step up with a big pot of cash and get you players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and I think also that something needs to be said with that too. Like, we as Live Golf fans, not just for pro disruption fans that also enjoy Live Golf, like, we don't need the Roy McIlroy or Victor Hovland or Hideki Matsuyama like hype all year. Like, we just don't really need that anymore. Like, I think it's just more so of like, we're trying to grow the league, and whether things get disrupted or not is fine, but let's just worry about what we're doing over here. So I'm okay with, the lack of blockbuster it's been this offseason. As long as every roster spot's filled competitively, which as of right now it has been, then I'm totally fine with continuing this path forward.
And I would say that those 3 teams, specifically Fireball, Range Goat, Legion, like, I don't think those captains are sitting there still trying to figure out who they're going to get. My guess is those are signed contracts, and those are guys that they aren't going to announce yet because they still have an event or 2 to play on a DP World Tour or a PGA Tour that they can play in January, rather than announcing it now and incurring fines. Like, if you signed a DP World Tour guy and you announce it right now, then he gets fined if he plays in January. So my guess is everybody knows who their guy is going to be by now.
I would assume so with that. But I feel like with like Brandon Grace, with Cameron Tringali, Like those guys aren't DP World Tour guys, but their status is still in limbo. I'm not sure what would hold them up at the moment. I feel like we would possibly know by now, assuming where we're going. But I don't know. Like even if the High Flyers don't bring back Tringale, I don't know who they could possibly replace
I
for
mean,
him.
the Crushers literally just said, "Hey, our team is complete. Like this is the team we're going forward." We all knew that. They just
Yeah,
made an announcement that said it's final. So if Phil comes out and says, "Hey, the High Flyers are final for next year. This is who we have." It is. Let's go. Like it's not surprising to us, but we didn't expect any differences in the Crushers either. So
yeah, no, I agree. But I feel like with the Crushers model, like their team build, do you think? And this is kind of going back to the Cleeks a little bit. Do you think that like that's the way to go? Like there's two clear models of two superstars, a young guy and someone who's just kind of mid, and the Crushers where it's one superstar and then three guys that are stout. Like they're all lock zone players.
well, I don't know
Like
if we haven't seen it play out yet to like, hey, this is the build of a team that is going to win every year. One, we just don't have enough years to figure that out yet. We
yeah,
don't have enough evidence with a half season and then 2 full seasons. And I think it's going to change. I mean, you look at other team sports, teams win Super Bowls by scoring 40 points a game, and there's teams that win Super Bowls scoring 25 points a game. So what that mix is going to look like, and that's different too with the Crushers. You have it's not your wily veteran that's your captain the same way it is with the four aces.
yeah.
So there's some mixes that are going to be different, and they can never be replicated just based on who the captain is. Um,
I
for the
also
Cleeks,
feel like I'm sorry, keep going.
for the Cleeks and Ironheads, we got to figure that out still. Like we have captains, but will they be captains next year? We didn't know if they'd be captains coming into this season, so
Yeah.
let it play out.
I feel like just in the short term, in the way to zig and zag and how to build a team, I don't know if the Cleeks, especially because they have good finishes before. I don't know if Kettrup's the best way to kind of zag against the field and make them more competitive outside of one event like they were this year in Houston. I still want to figure out how that best roster construction is made up. I think that's a good case study kind of going forward of what's the best way to make a team. Because I feel like now everyone's kind of on the we need a young guy with our stars
Yeah.
type thing.
Well, and I think as you start to look at a captain, somebody that has equity ownership, and then now the GMs are in play, like we have to have those young guys because at some point our older guys are going to age out of the system, and those young guys, if they're successful and they stick around, then become our seasoned veterans. Um, yeah, we'll learn what the mold is going to look like, and maybe there is no one way that works, and maybe teams continue to try and sign or trade in the offseason for other people's veterans and have 4 veteran players and avoid the young player. Not
Yeah.
everybody is a good teacher either. And I noticed in the release on Kjettrup, one thing he said is he has always looked up to Martin Keimer. That Martin Keimer was winning majors, was winning the PGA championship, things like that when he was young and impressionable. Well, I think that makes a big difference. Like you're ready to go learn from that guy.
Yeah.
But a guy like DJ, maybe he doesn't want to take on a young guy and have to answer questions and feel like he's the teacher in all those situations. So I don't know. Not much to. I don't really want to speculate on those last openings because in the end, you're right or you're wrong and whatever. But I think it is what it is, and we learn as we go that probably those 3 openings technically aren't open. They're probably already done deals, and we'll find out later why it took them longer to announce.
Yeah. I don't anticipate these moves to be announced, I don't know, by mid-January. Some of them. I
Yeah,
don't know. Like I don't think we'll have the full rosters by the time we're at International Series India the week before Riyadh.
yeah.
I think there'll still be another spot that needs to be filled at that point.
Let's move on to the Fox deal with Liv and what impact does it have? Because really, when I look at it, selfishly as a U.S. sports viewer, it seems like a big deal. Does it matter outside of the United States? I don't know what Fox is going to look like in Australia. I've seen some things online, some of our Australian friends saying like it may not matter to them, like depending on which station there still airs it. Is it literally just a Fox United States deal and everybody else is still on their own, every country by country to figure it out? Then there's the side of the app. Where does that go? What do you think is going to happen there?
Well, I think, in the United States, I think it's got a huge impact on the way people not as diehard as you and I watch, just seeing it on a channel that's as public as Fox is, and even on FS1, if it's on an international time frame at while they're in Europe, that's playing in the morning. So I think having it just be visually there to people, I think that's a huge deal. And I'm excited to see how those numbers look. I don't think it's going to be the end all be all of if these numbers stink, then this is just a failed thing. Get rid of it. I don't think that matters necessarily, but I think it's a lot easier for people to find. And that's a big complaint that some people claim to have. Whether that's natural, that's a real complaint or not, I don't know. But I think that is something that is better for everyone involved. And in terms of the app, I'm hoping that it doesn't make us have to pay for it. If it does, I'll pay for it. I'll pay whatever for it. Don't get me wrong. But the convenience of having the free app, of having any shot anytime, and being able to watch whenever without paying anything is fantastic. I also think it could impact you a little bit too, because if it's on the Live Plus app, we got to pay for that. I don't know if you're going to be able to clip those nearly as easily. I don't think you'll be able to after.
No, I may have to retire from the highlight game. A little bit of that
can
already.
Be devastating.
Well, it's happened a little bit already when the Live Golf Plus app blocked screen recording, which up to them, that's fine. There's ways for that to be trumped, I guess you could say. But the disappointing thing is they had people like myself, like Flushing It, like some other people that wanted to promote their product and be fans of it and try and convince other people to be fans of it. And you're going to put a roadblock there. Like, I mean, there's reasons for doing that, but at the same time, you're a growing league that needs help building your audience. And there was people literally doing it for free. And then you put a roadblock in their way. So yes, if Fox steps in and Fox takes over streaming, let's say the Any Shot Anytime went to Fox's streaming platform instead of Live Golf Plus, that would definitely put an end to a lot of the highlights that you see on X. I don't know the impact like in the United States. Here's what I think the biggest deal about being on Fox. Yes, there's the people that say, well, CW was hard to find. I went out to eat last night, a well-known chain restaurant. The Monday night or the Sunday night football game was on. When that finished, there was no other sports. People weren't in tune with what was on. Well, CW doesn't show up in the list of sports channels when you're at a restaurant, when you're at an airport, when somebody who doesn't know sports is responsible for putting product on the TV in a public space. When that's on Fox and there's golf, it automatically gets turned on because it's another sporting event in the guide that's listed right there with our main network channels or our sports channels, FS1, right there next to ESPN. I think just from a visibility standpoint, it kind of becomes a default almost in public places where like, oh, there's a sporting event on, put it on some of the TVs. So I think that part is probably as big of a factor for me as anything, is like going to be in a public place and see it on TV because it's on Fox and not the CW.
Yeah, and that's a fantastic point. I think, and that's kind of what I was saying, the visibility of it, especially in public places too. The CW isn't going to come up anywhere. Fox will come up everywhere. I mean, it's just a network that has a lot of good airing shows. So I am excited to see, just more people like my parents, my brother, people that don't care for Live Golf as much as I do, like just turn on Fox. It's on there. Oh, that's easy. Yeah, I'll watch for sure. And then that's how you get more people, more casual fans involved. And one more thing before we move forward, kind of just talking about Fox. I know, and this is about the highlights again. I don't want to be down a dead horse, but I think our very little poll that we have can be used here. I know Fox with like screen recording like college football highlights, they are not nice about it. They will go out of their way to copyright things. So hopefully in this whatever deal is negotiated, that there is any chance that we can get some sort of screen recorded content out there just based off the app. I think that would be a good thing for everyone and not have Fox kind of stomp all over it. So that's just my plea to the negotiators of the world in this particular deal.
So our next topic, we're going to revert back a little bit in the Kjettrup article. Martin Keimer had a quote, and he maybe spilled some beans on something. It's not like this has been confirmed, but just the way in which he said it made us believe that all 4 scores are going to count in every round going forward, starting in 2025. Again, no live confirmation on that. It was just, that's how I took his quote to be. Did you catch that?
I did. Of course I did, just based off of our podcast notes. But I was put last year when 4 scores counted on Sunday. We didn't know about that until the Fairway to Heaven episode, like the week before. Like Sue Ann dropped that bomb just kind of randomly. Yeah. And so with that being said now, I'm hoping that is the case. I think it's very exciting. I think it really impacts tournaments with the teams that have a guy that can like put up a big number, like Pooj on the Fireballs, like Mito Pereira, really anyone on the Ironheads has the capability of blowing up. I think it impacts those teams more than anyone else.
I did some digging because I was curious, how would this affect the turnout of a tournament? And I went back to Chicago this past year, the 2024 season. Caleb Surratt had a absolutely terrible tournament. He went 10 over in round 1, 3 over in round 2, 5 over in round 3. And Legion ended up finishing second, but they didn't have to count his score in round 1 or round 2, which if they did now would add 13 strokes to their total for the tournament. They finished 13 under for the tournament. And then you bring in a team like the Majestics, who finished 4th in that tournament. Their worst scores on day 1 were Horsfield 3 over and Lee Westwood 4 over on day 2, which is 7 strokes added to theirs. So all of a sudden, and I checked 1 and 2 and a couple more down, all of a sudden the Majestics are a podium team if we count all 4 scores.
Yeah.
So now we go back to what's the right way forward with adding talent. If all 4 scores count in every round, does that deter you from taking a young guy? Do you need a seasoned veteran who doesn't have those blow up rounds, because you are going to have to count his score every single day?
Yeah. Well, the Majestics, their shortfall isn't high numbers. Their shortfall is not being able to go low.
Well, like exactly. But
they're consistent.
This should benefit them.
100%. Like I think this helps the Crushers so much if it goes to 4 scores. Like those guys, they go low, but they don't shoot high numbers. Like if I was a betting man, I would bet everything on the Crushers to win before obviously we know what the rosters are, but I mean just the roster makeup and how 4 scores can affect the tournament. The Crushers, the Majestics, those teams' values go up way through the roof. I think the Fireballs, depending on who they add, like that hurts them. I think Torquay, if they play as inconsistent as they did this year, that hurts them. So I think it's just a matter of, and range goats. Like I think if Bubba Watson's back and Matthew Wolf's back, assuming that Bubba Watson is back, like that's a high number waiting to happen every hole. Like that crushes them. So it will be interesting to see how it goes, because it flips the team aspect completely on its head.
Well, and when you have a young guy like the Ironheads will, like the Cleeks will, you kind of were able to bring them in and say, hey, no pressure. Like you get 2 rounds, and if you play well and somebody else doesn't, like pressure's off, right?
Yeah.
It's time to grow up. And as we're tying all these things together, maybe this is where you say we need you to play more international series events because we can't have you show up on Friday and shoot 7 over. Like that takes us out of a tournament if we have a blow up day one. Now, like you mentioned, there's a couple of teams where they have a veteran. If they bring Bubba back, if Bubba brings himself back, where it's your captain or it's your veteran that's capable of that, and that may accelerate some changes with a few teams as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, if those guys continue, like if those guys continue to kind of stink in terms of just bringing in high numbers, add the team pressure of taking your team completely out of an event by having a couple bad holes, like I feel like that would accelerate the process, right? So that's a good point. I don't know. It's really interesting to see how this plays out because if it is confirmed that it is 4 scores counting all 4 days, it adds a ton more pressure to these events. They're not as nearly laid back during the first couple days. Not that they're super laid back anyway, because obviously they are, but it's not like it's a hit and giggle out there. Like these are still professional golf tournaments. But the way that the tournament can just be turned on its head is, it's going to be interesting, a lot more captivating to see how it goes. Also, with that being said, too, I hope that they don't just make it 4 scores counting for the last day of the team championship as well. I don't know how you would best determine that, but if it's just the same as a normal round, like it would be for 39 rounds and then the team championship, I don't know how great of a final day that is. So that's also something to keep in mind as well.
Well, I think when I thought about it a little more, like I'm guilty of probably not watching the team scoreboard a lot on days 1 and 2 because we know it fluctuates so much and day 3 is going to sort itself out. This makes me watch it a little more because if Caleb Surratt shoots a 10 over on day 1, it kind of pulls Legion out of the picture a little bit. It's not like, I'll just wait for day 3 because everybody's in it and things can change so fast. Like things can change fast in the first 9 holes of the tournament now.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, your tournament could be over immediately.
Yeah.
Like a quick triple start in the first 6 holes by 2 of the guys, like you're done.
The other thing, and I'm just thinking of this now because we've had it happen a couple of times in 2024, is how a withdraw would work. Because in rounds 1 and 2, if somebody withdrew partway in, like they had played 4 holes and an injury caused them to withdraw, their score just didn't count for the day, and then the other 3 had to. How does this play into that? If you withdraw, what is your score for that?
Well, no, I mean, I think last year on the 3rd round they just had the alternate or the reserve player come in and just pick up where they left off. So I think they would just play the last 11 holes, however it may go, which I'm cool with that. But also it does slow down the pace and you're putting yourself at a severe disadvantage, just kind of throwing a guy in cold. But I mean, they still have the guys on site, so might as well use them instead of just pay them to be there just to do nothing really other than practice. So I'm cool with that. I think that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Also, one more thing before we transition to your Let's Be Serious. Did you not watch the team aspect as much just because you don't really root for a real team?
I take offense to that. No, I mean, I kind of said it, like the team aspect, really day 3 was about the team. Like, yes, you have both things going on at once, but day 1 didn't matter for the team. If one guy played terrible, it didn't take you out of the tournament. And then as we found out on day 3, you can so easily come from 10 shots back, from 15 shots back if you have 2 or 3 guys that go low. It just, for me, day 1 and day 2 are about enjoying the individual performances. And I think that's going to have to change a little bit if we find out that all 4 scores are going to count.
I wonder if that changes like how the broadcast approaches it too. Because they really hammered the team aspect on day 3, obviously, because that's when it matters the most. But how that impacts the broadcasts on days 1 and 2, I think it's also something that could be that we need to watch out for.
All right, let's be serious here. There is 2 websites for Live Golf. We have livegolf.com and livegolfplus.com. Do we really need both? Can we make that one website? Like, I was looking for information to talk about some things today, and so much of what those two websites have is duplicated. And I get that Live Golf Plus, you can have an account, and that's kind of your entryway into any shot, anytime, those types of things. But there's really no difference. Can we just get on one page and have livegolf.com be the home for everything?
I love that because there's two apps too.
Yes.
There's the Live Golf app and the Live Golf Plus
Yes.
app. You know, ESPN, as terrible as an app that is, that's only one place to watch both, to track scores and watch stuff. So
and find news and find
news.
stats and standings. And
I don't know if we're necessarily qualified to talk about this just because we're not smart enough to be web developers.
No,
but
I get that.
For a convenience standpoint, like, you're 100% right. Like, I will beat that drum with you. That
the one thing ESPN does,
fantastic.
ESPN takes their fantasy games and puts on another app. So let's take the Live Golf Plus app, add the news that livegolf.com has, make the Live Golf app be the Live Golf fantasy app, and separate the two in that way. If we're going to keep two apps, like, I don't even know at this point what's different. Like, they've just duplicated almost everything between the two. And I like the Live Golf Plus app more because season standings and results and things like that are easier to see. But when I'm looking for a news article, I tend to go back to the Live Golf app. Same for you. I don't know. Like,
can you? I'm looking at. Hang on. So when I go, okay. So you can't even watch like Live Golf Plus on the livegolf.com website.
No, it has all the links.
It has all the links, but okay. So that's interesting. Yeah, I think it'd be nicer if it was on one thing. I think it'd be a lot more convenient if it was on one thing. However, I'm not going to take this chance to shit on them for it not being it, because I don't know how it works within how these websites do it. We're both idiots. We're podcasting. Wow. So, but
that's just my 2 cents. Like, if you want a home for Live Golf, let's combine them. Let's make this super easy to use. Everything all in one place. It's just, it's the next step. And it may be dictated by where Fox takes their streaming, right? If the streaming, let's say all the streaming went to a Fox platform for streaming, then I think for sure you're back to one Live Golf place. You don't
totally. I don't see Live Golf Plus like transitioning to Fox. I feel like it's still going to be on its own. Just because, you know, you're going to use that app for the whole world. You're only going to use the Fox Sports app in the US. So I don't see Live Golf Plus going anywhere. Also, if they did transition, I doubt that they would bring in all of the old footage of previous years' events there too. I mean, that's just a lot of storage to put in a new place that probably doesn't really need it. So yeah, but I'm all about, like I said, I'm all about just having one central platform to go.
Sounds good. Well, should be our last episode here before Christmas. So Merry Christmas to all of those that made it to the end of this. And thank you for joining us on this little journey we have. And again, check us out on Spotify if you'd rather listen to this at your convenience rather than pulling up the post on X, or if there's some other way you'd rather listen, let us know, comment, and let us know where you listen to podcasts at, because we can always explore other options too. So
we'll make the transition to other places. We're just doing this one thing at a time so far.
Okay, that's all I've got. Anything else?
No, I'm all set. Happy holidays, everybody.
We'll see you.